Alright, so the video we're going to look at now is, well, it's questions where you're asked to create a formula and then use it in a context. Often this will look very similar to the one example we've got here. Okay, so it's talking about an amusement arcade. It's got a lighting effect in the shape of some triangles with some coloured lights, and it then gets assembled in sections, and we see that when we put the second one on, it kind of joins on to the first one with a shared light here. Question might maybe ask you very quickly to extend that formula, maybe do another drawing, but for now we're just going to have it look to copy and complete a table, or rather in this case just complete a table. So if we were doing that, well, we could draw the pattern for 3. We would have to draw on another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, kind of arranged around that way, like one here, one here, one here, and one here. They all join up in our triangle like this. Or just look at the formula and see it's going 6 to 11, so it's going up by 5, so we'd expect the next one to go up by 5 to 16, and the next one to go up by 5 to 21. You might have a space through here and be asked to fill in maybe 10, or in this case 12. So what I'm having to do is to go from 2 to 4, it's going up by 10. 4 to 6 is going to take me to 31. To 8 is going to take me to 41. To 10 is going to take me up to 51. And to 12 is going to take me up to 61. Or what I could have done is I could have just extended the table manually and just put in all of these extra values and worked them out that way. So you could just extend it all on manually like that, or work out in your head as I've done. We'll come back and look at that a wee bit later on once we've done some more of the question, because there's another way of checking it just to make sure it's right and making sure we've not made any little mistakes. So part B, what is this asking me to do? It's asking me to write down a formula for calculating the number of lights, which we're going to call C, when we know the number of sections, which is S. Most of these formulas involve a multiple of the first thing. So C is what we're looking for. So C equals, it's going to be something S, and how we find out what that something is we want to go and look at how much this is going up by each time. So it's going up by 5, and it's going up by 5, and it's going up by 5. So looking at it, it appears that our formula has something to do with the 5 times table. Okay, so C equals 5S is part of our formula, but it doesn't quite work. If I was to do 5S, 5 ones are 5, they're not 6. 5 twos are 10, they're not 11. 5 threes are 15, they're not 16. But each of those times, if I do 5 ones, I get 5, and I add on 1 to get 6. I do 5 twos, and I get 10, and I add on 1 to get 6. I do 5 threes to get 15, and add on 1 to get 16. So every time I'm adding 1 on. So my formula is C equals 5S plus 1. And the plus 1 is what fixes it. Now I can go back to my 12 and say 5 12s are 60, and if I add on 1 I get 61. So I've definitely done that correctly. What you could have done as well is just left that blank for a moment until you work this out, and then made it a little bit easier on yourself. Okay, so the next bit is a question that says the arcade lighting effect uses a total of 116 lights. And it says how many sections are in the lighting effect. You'll be asked to use the formula, and there's a couple of ways that you might use it. It might have asked you, for example, how many coloured lights will there be if there were 15 sections? So we're changing a 15 in place for S. But this question says 116 lights. Okay, so that's C. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the number that we know from the formula 116, I really wrote 166, into my formula. Well, 116 is equal to 5s plus 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve that equation and find out what s is. Again, I want to get rid of stray number 1 here, and I want to just be left with 5s on my right hand side. So if I was to take 1 away here, I need to take 1 away here and leave me with 115. So 115 is equal to 5 lots of whatever s is. So s is going to be 115 divided by 5. Again, this is a calculator paper potentially. If it's on the calculator paper, the numbers are like this. Don't hesitate to use your calculator to either find or check your answer. So remember that 115 divided by 5 is 23. I know most of you could do that without a calculator, but why risk it? So S is equal to 23. Okay, and that's how you make a formula.